Okay, so this is where it's falling down. Because it's saying it's live. YouTube doesn't know. Whoa, whoa, there it is. Hey, look at that. Okay. 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 Well, let's verify, but it sure looks like it's working. Hello. All right, let's check in the thing here. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. Okay, so the multi-stream chat does not seem to reflect. I think I have to cough. Boy, did I have to cough. Woo! Boy, am I glad I didn't do that in your ears. I mean, there's nobody's ears that I'm doing it into, but... Hello, chat. All right, let's see. And what... Oh. I keep forgetting I'm an idiot. Let me move this up. There we go. Hello. Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, if I do this, hello. Does it show up here? No. So it doesn't show that. That's fine. It's working enough. It's working enough. So I'm not going to worry about this right this second. I'll figure the chat thing out another time. The important part is the stream itself appears to be working. Let me go ahead and mute my phone because it's going to alert me, I'm sure. Oh boy, is it? Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Yep. Did it just in time. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. So I can close this now, which is great. As long as it's working, which it appears to be. So now I just need to do my posting stuff, which will take me not long at all because I pre-populated a lot of this. So all I have to do, happy Thursday, by the way, is I need to select this and say next, and I need to select an image right there and say next, and I need to put my caption in there. Bang! That's done. Now let's start hitting enter because I can do two things at once. There we go. 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 Oop, I forgot one. I forgot one. You know what? That's okay. I don't think anybody from that particular Discord even shows up, so whatever. It's fine. I'm not saying that as I'm bothered. I'm just saying what am I wasting my time for? All right, good. Discord's done. Okay. Instagram takes forever to post for no reason that I can figure out. So that's why I always do that one first. And finally, I just have to post on Blue Sky. I'm just being a dummy. Okay, and paste. Boy, I'm glad you could just copy and paste these things everywhere. It's so much easier than having to retype this everywhere. Okay, Instagram is done. I can close that window, and I believe I just have to do this. Paste, enter, entry. I said entry. Enter. All right, and we are. Come on, buddy. Refresh. Just making sure you're there. All right, perfect. Okay. We should be all set. Okay. I can put the phone down. Oh, put the phone there, not down. My keyboard is still charging, so I'm just going to move it carefully. I don't want to hang that cord up on anything. And here we go. Okay. Well, we're 4 minutes in. Pardon me. Everything appears to be working. So we're going to go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage, which is that. Oh, nope. There we go. There we go. Still somewhat getting used to this, so you have to bear with me a little bit. Oh, and I have to find the reflector window, which for some reason, that's weird. Why isn't it showing up there? Hold on. Why? Oh, did it? Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Hold on, did it lose its connect? No, it's still connected. Why don't I see reflector in the list now? Oh, what is this now? Jeez, I'm telling you, it is amazing that there's always got to be one. Oh, you know why? I know why. Maybe. Yep, there it is. Got it. Okay, we're good. We're good. I was gonna say, I bet it's because I didn't refresh the page. It's exactly what it is. Is this wide? Will this turn itself? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, it didn't center itself properly, but I could fix that very easily just by saying, oh, there has got to be a thing for that. There it is, right there. So we want what? Center horizontal? Yes, excellent. Because this is a better one in the wide. So this is an image I've been tooling around with for quite a while. It's gone through at least, oh man, this is probably the 5th version. It started with the skulls, the center skull, which I liked always from the beginning, but I wanted something around it. And I think the first version I did of this, there may be an illustration time lapse. This may have actually, I may have streamed this earlier, but I originally had this big blob that was on top of it, like it was a parasite or something, because I had this, it looked goofy and I kind of wanted it that way. And I still have that image somewhere. Like I didn't get rid of it, but I realized that wasn't really, I don't know. It's not where I want it to be. So then I thought, well, I haven't done an inverted drawing in a while, meaning most of the stuff I do, if you see it, if you've been here before, is the lines are black. The outlines are black and then the inner side, or whatever color. So here I'm doing something that will pop against a dark background. So that's why those tentacles are white. That's the idea, is I'm going to have the outlines of everything be in white. I don't think the skull, though. I think the skull will stay black, and it'll just be everything else that's white. But I can actually mess around with that. Yeah, there's the blob tentacle. So the blob's still in here. Yeah, like there's the tentacles from the blob. There's the blob. See, that was the blob hat. I thought I got rid of that. Not that it matters. So, yeah, there's the blob line work thing. Did I have 2 copies? Well, I'll just leave it. How many layers do I have with this? Let me do a quick check. No, it's not one. Oh, jeez, not that skull. This one. Thank you. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place here. Okay, so let me see. All right, let me look at the canvas. Where's the, oh, canvas right there. There we go. All right, let's see what we have layer-wise real quick. 5 left. Okay, not a ton. But the idea was to, I don't know if I like the crack in the skull. I go back and forth on that. So if I duplicate this and then I do an invert, see like that? I don't know. I sort of want to do that because I feel like, you know, most of my stuff is the black outlines. So I'm trying to work out what I want to do with this. And it might be doing the white lines like this. Like I do like that look. I just don't know yet. I'm like going back and forth with it. The tentacles, I'm going to definitely do the white outline, but I'm not going to make them all white because I think, I don't know, that to me doesn't look good. But see, like, okay, if I invert all these, you know, there is something to that. But at the same time, there's also something nice about the black skull and then the white lines outside of it. So you see where I'm going back and forth. But I do want to do the white tentacles. I want to have the white outlines on these tentacles. So I know I'm going to stick with that. And as you can see, I did it as a symmetry. So they're equal on both sides. So I know I'm going to stick with that. The interior color will not be white. I'm going to put some kind of color inside here. So for now, you know what? I got to check. Did I do 2 versions of this image? Or do I only have 1? Really? I only have the 1? I could... All right. Well, you know what I'm going to do? There's an easy solution to that. Duplicate. All right. Now, version 2, I'm junking the blob stuff. It's going to give me back, what do you call it? It's going to give me back layers. It's going to let me play around, and I don't have to worry about the other one now. What is this? Oh, those are the black tentacles. See how many tentacles? I mean, I've done lots of versions of these. Blob tentacles are gone. Blob colors are gone. What is this? Just a white layer? Yeah. And then this is the sketch of the blob gone. Yeah, you know what? All this stuff, all this can go. I'm past the sketch stage. I don't need to do sketch anymore. At least not there. So, okay. So now I'm free of the blob, which should give me a ton of layers back. Where are we at now? 40. Yeah, that's what I thought. So now I have a nice wide array of... man. I look at that crack in the skull, and sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. But you know what the nice part about having a lot of layers is? I'll tell you what it is. The nice part is I can just turn that off. I can turn the assists on. Actually, no, leave them on. Doesn't matter. What is this? Oh, that's another set of tentacles. Jeez, there's so many of them. I did so many of these things. That's where it is. We're going to go ahead and we're going to erase this out. I just don't think I like it. But I can leave the basics of it there, so if I want to come back to it, I can. I'm not really destroying it because this will integrate right back in. But what I'm going to do is, where's the outer layer? Here it is. We're going to go ahead and switch to black. We're going to switch to our ink pen, which is pretty sure what I used for this, but much bigger, obviously. 10 maybe? Yeah, 10 looks right. Let's go ahead and just shave this down. I don't mind doing that destructively. I can get that back so easily. All right. Let's get that brush. And let's punch through here. Oop, not like that. Oh, no, that looks bigger. No, it's not. Wasn't 10. Maybe it was 8. Yeah, 8 looks right. Okay, and we graph that in. And as simply as that, I have sealed the bone fissure. I just have to find those lines. Yeah, so, I don't want to just destroy those in case I want it back. So I'm going to do a duplicate, turn that off. I'm going to go ahead and get the paint out. I'm going to annihilate everything around that. So I'm not going to destroy those lines, just the lines that are around them. And then I'll do the reverse on the other side. So just get rid of, oh wow, look at all that stuff. But I'm only getting rid of it on this particular layer. Punch that way up now. See, I can just get rid of all this. Scrub all this. I probably did all that on similar layers because of the canvas layer restriction, but I don't have that anymore because the blob is relegated to its own image now. Okay, so that takes care of all that. Let's drop this back down to 10. Now, switch that off, switch this back on, and now the only thing I'm getting rid of on oh, I still move my, okay, I want to make sure it didn't stop sharing, is that. That way I retain everything. So what I'm going to do here is this layer, which I'm going to call Bone Crack Details, and then we'll rename this as Bone Crack. Okay. These don't matter in terms of where they are in the layer stack, so they're going to the bottom, because why not? And yeah, I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that thing sometimes. And why did it move them outside? Oh, jeez. Sometimes you have to do this, and then it comes back. It's so strange. Procreate has this weird thing about not knowing how to leave something on the bottom of a list, which is okay. It's not that big a deal, but it's sort of strange. All right, so now we have our line already, so we have to come into the bone color, and we need the, oh, interesting. Wow. Let's do a little bit of work here. That's okay. Let's go ahead and fill this in. So now our bone color is formal and complete. And now what I need is to finish this color. So that is what, this one? No. This one? No. This one. Okay. So we take this and we come up here and we just go right off. And then we'll fill this in. Oh, get that edge. Get that edge. All right. And there we go. Except I don't like that at all. Not at all, but I gotta round it more. I gotta make it more like the other side. No, not like that. I was listening to something where they were talking about all the different social media platforms that exist now and how all of them are starting to go towards short form video, like TikToking themselves, because TikTok is short form video for the most part. And I'll tell you, I got zero interest in short form video. I just recorded a 5-hour video, as a matter of fact, talking about Predator 2, RoboCop 2. And I didn't even want to cut that in half. That's how much I don't care about short form video. You know what? Leave that to younger people. It's fine. Go ahead. I like to watch longer videos. Therefore, I'm going to make longer videos. because that's what I like doing. I'm not going to chase after what other people are doing and worry about it. Nope. Nope. Other people can do that. That's fine. Like I said, I got no problem with short form video, but it really isn't for me, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to bother. Okay, there we go. But it was just funny because they happened to be talking about that, and I thought, yeah, well, that's going to be for somebody else to do. Not me. Nope, this is probably the right pen. It's just weird. Is it 8? Maybe it is 8. Because yeah, I can't imagine doing short form video. Because I don't like it myself. That's the thing. Is if I don't like it, I don't want to make something I don't like. You know? If coconut cookies are really popular, I wouldn't make those either because I don't like coconut. So I don't care if other people like it or not. I don't. I mean, if you like coconut, that's fine. But yeah, I just found it funny because they were talking about, oh, everybody's trying to do short form video now. I thought, yeah, I'm sure they are. I don't doubt it. Like I said, it's the TikTok effect. It's very, very real, and lots of people are doing that. And the other thing is, and this is something else that I think a lot of people don't do this. You have to realize what you're good at and what you're not. You have to have some understanding of where you're... Did I turn the system on? I did. Okay. Of where your strengths and weaknesses are. And rather than try to... I mean, there are things that you can learn to do better. I don't want to make it like if you're not good at something, you can't learn it. You absolutely can. But I really have just come to realize that I don't... If there's something that I really just have no interest in, I don't know why I would bother learning it. I'd rather spend my time learning something that I actually have interest in, you know, doing or using or whatever. And like I said, short form video is just not it. So, you know, I played around with TikTok for 2 weeks before my account got whatever happened to it. It did. And I haven't missed it. You know? It wasn't like I was doing anything major with it anyway. I was literally just reposting my 5s with words so that I guess people could read them instead of listening to it, which also sort of bugged me. The idea that I was putting words to something that is intended to be audio. It's so strange. It's so strange. I did a short show about this this week, as a matter of fact, where I was talking about I really do feel bad for a lot of creators now because a lot of the avenues that people have been using just aren't working anymore. They're really just not. They're not getting the responses and the engagement that they want on it. And in that show, I was sitting here going, that was, I think, for a long time, and this was probably not great in terms of being dependent on something. But a lot of creators, I think, got very used to the idea that, just turn all these off so that I'm working on, that social media was, because it was working for them, and they were getting, in terms of like people selling stuff, they were getting sales, they were getting people to buy their work. And it was, for a while, it was a very mutually, I really butchered that, a mutually beneficial relationship. Where, because platforms, the thing that they often strive for, almost all social media platforms, what they are most interested in is, did I erase that? Why is that not white right there? That's really weird how that cuts off. I guess that's just how it's supposed to be. Social media stuff is geared for people to be engaged with it. That's the idea. That's why engagement is that word you hear over and over and over and over. That's why, if you didn't already know this, when you watch YouTube videos and they tell you, comment, if you agree or disagree, comment below, let me know. That's not because they really care. I mean, I'm sure some do. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everybody's like that. But a lot of them, they don't actually care what you think. They're never going to look at your comment. Especially if they're getting thousands of comments. How could they? Realistically, if somebody is putting out a video that has a huge following and they're getting hundreds of comments over the course of a week, say, or thousands, whatever, they would have to stop everything they were doing to thoughtfully respond to all those comments. They're not doing that. They don't care. Like I said, Some do, I'm sure, but that's almost a full-time thing in itself. So no, the reason for that is because the platforms, whatever they are, they reward that. They see anything, positive, negative, as long as somebody is responding to it and it has, Mr. Pruitt! I still get sales here and there. It's the business. Oh, it's appearing on the screen. Ah, it works. Although it's in a bad spot. Hold on. Thank you for saying that, though. I will. Oh, it disappeared. Hold on. Sorry. I want to make it so people can actually see it. I got it to work. Well, I'll read this one because it came in. I got to fix that delay. Positive. Okay, so first comment, if you missed that one, is I still get sales. And this is Mr. Ant Pruitt, photographer, who does an excellent podcast called Everyday People Doing Everyday. I won't say the word because I try to keep this family friendly. And also does creator office hours. If you support him on his Patreon, which I believe is patreon.com/AntPruitt, and you should support him over there. Back to his comment. This is so weird being on this side of it. I'm used to being the one who comments, not reading comments. But Mr. Pruitt says, I still get sales here and there. It's the businesses that need creators. It's the businesses that need creators are part of my frustration. Well, yes, and I've seen a lot of this stuff because I follow a lot of independent creators. Oh, and then followed that with positive versus negative types of engagement. Well, that's the thing. And that's the thing that I think for me is bothersome about these platforms is that they really don't care. And so it encourages people, you are most welcome for the support. And that did appear on the screen, so people can see that. Yay! It's good when things actually work. I almost never get anything to work flawlessly. I mean, nothing works flawlessly. No, I shouldn't say it like I managed to do that. But yeah, I think my frustration with these platforms is that they do not, in general, seem to have any regard for, no care for the quality of engagement. All they care about is, and it makes sense from a raw kind of business perspective, oh, you're spending time on our site. That's all we care about. Wait, is the screen? Okay, I want to make sure it didn't freeze. That's all they care about. And I think that is part of the reason, not all of it, but that's part of the reason why YouTube is such a notorious cesspool when it comes to comments. I actually made a joke about it in that video that will be out. I'm doing it for August. I really, really am taking my time editing it because I feel like if I'm rushing, I'm doing a bad job of it. And we recorded it well ahead. We did the second part on Tuesday. That's why I didn't stream on Tuesday. And I'm giving myself till August. I actually got the RoboCop 2 part done. The basics of it are done as of today, which that was 2 hours and 40 minutes that I had to edit. And I now have to go put clips in and everything else. But I said in that video, because at one point in the video, Doug misstated that Steven Spielberg had made Star Wars. Now, it's because he was in the middle of a thought, and we were talking about Steven Spielberg, and then we were talking in general about different types of filmmaking. And so it's not that Doug didn't know that, he knows that Steven Spielberg didn't make Star Wars, but I jumped in and said, oh, just before everybody starts putting 1,000 comments, which would have already happened probably, I said, yes, he misspoke. It's whatever, shut up, because that's what's going to happen. These people are going to show up and they're just going to put stuff in there, and it's not contributing anything. They're not adding to the discussion. They're not contributing anything of worth. They just want to be able to put their hands on their hips and look down at you because you didn't know one piece of nerd trivia. And this comes from somebody. I once did a lecture, for all intents and purposes, on why Hal Jordan not being Green Lantern was one of the worst things that ever happened in comics. I think I rambled on for a good hour about it. So I am no stranger in any way to talking about things that have zero importance for a long time. I'm fine with that. But I really don't believe I ever do it in a way that is because I'm just trying to feel superior to somebody. That's, I think, the thing that bothers me. And the fact that these different platforms, they just encourage it. They don't care. Unless you really cross a line and say something like, well, I think all 2-year-olds should be murdered or something crazy. Then maybe they'll step in. Although even in the cases of people who have said absolutely awful things, they typically don't really do anything. They just kind of give you a warning. Or not you, but whoever it is. And so that doesn't do anything. I mean, that Logan Paul or whatever his name is guy is still on there. And still, you know, after some of the stuff he did. What is it, that streamer? Oh, I don't know what it is. Dr. Disrespect, is that his name? That guy? Yeah, the guy with the glasses and the terrible wig mustache thing. You know, the only reason he got kicked off anything is because, you know, all this stuff about his improper behavior with minors came out. But it was stuff that all the people who've been leaking it said, well, this was known. This just wasn't really public yet. And I seriously wonder if it had not become more public knowledge, would he really have been kicked off? Would they have cared? I don't know that they would have. I don't know. Maybe. I can't tell you for sure they wouldn't have. Maybe some people of conscience would have said, no, we cannot keep supporting this person. But the fact that I have to wonder about it... Is it still moving? Oh, it locked up. Hold on. Sorry. I'll get it back. 1 second. The only weird thing is it doesn't really crash like it used to, so it'll reconnect in a minute, which will allow me to get a quick drink of water because it's 111 degrees. Oh. There we are. But that's what I mean about I don't... It is depressing to me. Seriously, it is... Oops, I gotta put this... No, not that layer, dummy. Down here. It is depressing to me that I have to question the commitments to just basic decency on a lot of these companies. That to me is depressing. I know it's how it is. I understand. I'm not new to the world, and I know how things work, and I know that in the country that I live in, and to a broader extent, the world that I live in, everything is driven by money and wealth, which is its own indictment of human beings. But it just bums me out that I have to wonder about these things. Like I said, I know it's how it is, but it doesn't mean I have to like it, and it bothers me that so many people accept it. I don't know. And a lot of people do, and they just throw their hands up and say, that's how it is. And that's kind of the answer. I'm like, okay, no, that's not really an answer. That's a passive acceptance of things that aren't right. And I don't know that being that way is great for us long term. I'm not saying that you have to go out in the streets and start burning things and, causing havoc and messing with people, but at the same time, there are things little kindnesses to people, little moments where you stop and think, what impact does this have on somebody else? Do I need to be this cruel? Do I need to be this mean and selfish and petty? That type of thing. Little things. They're just little things. And they all add up. Just like everything else, little things add up. And that can go positive, negative. They add up both sides. So, now I sound like a Jerry Garcia hippie. But it is how I kind of look at things. And the older I get, the more I see it. Didn't care when I was younger, because I didn't care about anything. Because, like most young people, I was really most concerned with the person staring back at me in the mirror. And that's just a byproduct of youth. It's all right. Mr. Pruitt says, oh, good, you can see it. On a lighter topic, thanks for recommending Sneakers, the movie. I am really, really, really happy that you enjoyed that movie. Yes, let's switch to that. Here's something. If you've never seen a movie from 1990, I want to say 2, but I'm doing it off memory and I'm probably wrong. But basically, early 90s, a film called Sneakers with Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Mary McDonnell, which I did remember her name correctly. I was very thrilled about that. Dan Aykroyd, what is that guy's name? David Stratham, I think his name is. And other people who you will immediately recognize, well-known character actors. Great cast. What's that guy's name? Steven. Oh, he's the guy in Groundhog Day who gets punched by Phil when he sees him like the 9th time. What's his name? Steven Topolowski? I know I'm going to mispronounce his name. That guy. You'd know him the minute you saw him. Lots of people. Beautiful, beautiful movie. It is definitely a movie that is rooted in its time because it relies on technology heavily. And much like watching Hackers, you will notice that there is a vintage nature, shall we say, to the film in terms of its technology. But the concepts are largely the same as far as social engineering, those types of things. Technology may have changed, but the core ideas of how you can fool people and manipulate people, that stuff's all the same. That hasn't changed. The mechanisms may have changed, but the basic theories behind them have not. And it is a beautifully done movie. I absolutely adore Sneakers. It's such a great movie. It's often described as a nerd movie, and there's definitely, I think, it is definitely fair to say that people who are into technology and computers, cybersecurity, that type of stuff, will probably get more out of it, maybe. But I never describe it as a nerd movie, because I think that makes people think that that it really would only appeal to people who are into that stuff. And it really doesn't. It is a broadly appealing movie. But yes, if you are into tech, you will probably get a little bit more of a kick out of it, because you'll see things, go, oh yeah, I remember, especially if you're older. If you're younger, you might not. You might wonder why they're doing certain things or using certain types of tech that is long since gone. But there's other things, especially if you see them when there's a point where they interface with, I think it's like the air traffic control system, and they're doing other things, and that looks very of its time. But a great movie, and with really, really, really great actors in it, and a magnificent soundtrack score that I bought. I don't know. Mr. Pruitt says, I didn't see it as a nerd movie. I would have bailed. Yeah, good. Well, good. That's what I agree. That's why I never describe it that way. But I've seen people say, "Oh, this movie really appeals to nerds," and it's like, well, it has an additional layered appeal if you are into technology. That's true. I wouldn't dispute that. That there are things I see in that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when that was cutting edge, when some of the stuff they're using was cutting edge and isn't anymore. But yes, I agree. I would not call it a nerd movie, but I see it referred to a lot that way. And I think, honestly, I think a lot of it is because it's based around computers and people who are doing what I would call more realistic hacking than you would have seen in Hackers, the film with Angelina Jolie and Johnny Lee Miller. That movie is a riot, but it is nowhere near reality. It is so outside of reality that it almost becomes a surrealist fantasy, which I like. I enjoy that movie. It's a piece of junk, but it's, look, I like McDonald's fries. It's terrible for me. I know that, but I like them. Not as good as they used to be. Let's see. Mr. Pruitt says, and for the record, the ACH interface is pretty much the same today, just the flat file field names. Right. Well, that's what I mean, is there are certain elements that are fundamentally the same. But also, and this is, I've thought about trying to do. Oh, Mr. Pruitt used to work with financial stuff. Well, then you would know better that way. Yeah. I've thought about doing some kind of video essay, but I never will. I already know it. I'm just not built for that stuff. But about how much of popular perception of culture is fueled by, and this is true of everything. But in other words, if you've ever seen the movie Swordfish with Hugh Jackman and John Travolta, when Hugh Jackman is, I'm going to put giant quotes around this. You can't see it, but I'm making it with my hands. When he's hacking, it is the most ludicrous idea of what hacking is that you are likely to see in a, what at the time was a popular film. I mean, it is laughably stupid. But I'm sure that people who only really know about computers or only get their ideas on how these things work from popular culture, why wouldn't they think that's it? That a guy stands there with, oh God, I think he had 9 or 10 monitors and is speed typing. Okay, I was going to say but I didn't want to bring it to this level. Yes, Halle Berry, but I was going to say I think the reason a lot of people actually saw that movie isn't because it was a quality film. They really weren't going because of John Travolta or Hugh Jackman. The reason they were going was because famously Halle Berry was paid a lot of money to be topless in the film. And that's really, let's be honest, why most people went to see that movie. They didn't care about the hacking stuff. And, you know, hey, see whatever you want for whatever reasons you want. I think Halle Berry has been in far better material than that. But then again, if she actually did get paid $1 million for that, good for her. Good for her. Because I doubt many people in the world can get paid $1 million just to not wear a shirt. So, good for her. That is not meant to be any reflection in saying that I think she was wrong to do it. In fact, I don't think she was. I think she was. Hey, I think it changed a lot of people's lives, or certainly how do I put this in the right way for a family-friendly stream? It certainly may have clarified certain things that people thought about the world. I'll put that. That's about as general as I can put it without being more specific. But like I said, the idea that that's what hacking is, nonsense. Nonsense. I'm not going to say that in the history of computer technology that somebody hasn't done what Hugh Jackman did in that movie or some variation of it, but it is certainly not reflective of what actual computer hacking generally looks like. That may be something that somebody did to show off and in fact was accomplishing nothing. I could see that. But that's no. And that's an interesting thing because there are lots of ideas and concepts that people have that I really think they come from movies and TV and pop culture, but have no actual. It's kind of the idea that you watch Law and Order for however many years that thing was on, 20-something years, right? I mean, it's back on again, I think. But Law and Order, I mean, if you went by Law and Order, you would think that a crime could be solved inside of a few days. I mean, literally, it was a brilliant formatting. The first half was the crime and the investigation. The second half was the prosecution. I don't think it actually works that way. I've never been a police officer. I've never worked in a DA's office. But I feel fairly confident in saying that I don't think that most crimes unfold the way that Law and Order shows you they do. I feel pretty secure in making that statement. But I think, there are probably people who really they might think that it is that simple, that cases do get solved that easily. If they were actually to look into how many crimes go completely unsolved, they might be staggered by it if all you did was grow up seeing Law and Order. So it's an interesting idea. It's not, and that's not me saying people are necessarily dumb for thinking that. We're all products of whatever stuff we were exposed to. That's where I've talked about more than once my frustration with the word ignorant, because I think people use it in a very flat way, saying somebody's ignorant. But there's really two types of ignorance. There's ignorance that is informed and conscious and active ignorance, and there's an ignorance that comes from if you've never been around anything else. How would you know it was any different? How would you know? It doesn't mean you should go through your whole life pleading that, because I never was around this, I can just think whatever I want. But there is something where you have to sit there and go, well, if this individual never knew about this whole other aspect of life, then why would they know? Of course they're going to act in ignorance, but it's not because they're trying to be bad people. It's because they don't know what they're dealing with. And to a degree, you have to kind of factor that in. And there's a limit to that, just like there is to anything. But that's where I sit there and go, yeah, if all you knew was movies and TV, it's kind of what the Cable Guy. Remember that movie with Jim Carrey? I don't think it was a particularly. I mean, it was well known because it was Jim Carrey at the time, and he was at the top of his comedic thing. But I don't think many people have fond memories of that movie. But it is interesting to consider what somebody who. I mean, actually, what do you call it? Scrooged touches on this a little bit, where Bill Murray plays a TV executive, and you find out that most of his life was formed, his parents weren't really engaged. His father didn't really care, or didn't, certainly wasn't a particularly nurturing father, I guess you would say. And his mother just kind of escaped the house because she wasn't the biggest fan of the father. And so he formed so much of his identity on television, which is one of the reasons I really like that movie. Scrooge is great. But yeah, you sit there and go, well, if that's all you knew, then you would think everything in life functions that way, which is really sad. But I'm sure it's more common than we think. I don't know where I was going with that. It was just random thoughts. I don't even know what started that. I can never remember where some of my stuff starts, but... Oh, because of Sneakers. I think it was Sneakers and another thing. But yeah, Sneakers, great movie. Great movie. Cannot recommend it highly enough. And I think anybody who just likes a good movie... And I like Cold War type stuff, and that's kind of a... Oh, I see the screen froze. Let me fix that. 2 seconds. Here we go. And I like that type of stuff. I like espionage stuff. I like Cold War stuff. There we go. So yeah, Sneakers, easy recommendation. So I am very, very pleased that you liked it, because I know I can sometimes suggest movies that are a little bit, off the beaten path, and not to everybody's taste, even if I think they're great. So it's nice to... That's one of those movies I can recommend and be pretty sure that even if somebody doesn't like it as much as I do, they won't dislike it. I don't have to worry about that too much. That's a relatively safe bet for me when it comes to movies. Sneakers is kind of an easy one. And part of it is because the cast is just so great. So the cast kind of... It sort of insulates the movie from being that bad no matter what, because you just sit here and go, oh, wow, look at all the people in this. And these are not lightweight people. These are serious people who do some serious work. So, but nonetheless, like I said, glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. I was pretty sure that you would enjoy that one, because I think it's a very well-made movie. And a type of movie you just don't see much anymore. Not a lot of big action sequences. It's not a known IP. It's its own single kind of self-contained story. They spent the money on the cast, I think, more than CG effects or anything like that. And, yeah, so you don't see a lot of that stuff done. You see it more on streaming now. There are streaming series like Slow Horses. I gotta watch that. I've been told many times that's good. I have not watched it yet. But that sounds like something I would enjoy. But that is mostly the domain of streaming services now, to make that kind of slower character-driven stuff. You don't see as much of it in movies, although I did just review one that I thought that is definitely a character-driven movie, which is I Saw the TV Glow. But that's A24. A24 makes movies that I'm almost guaranteed to be interested in. They're making the arty, weird stuff now. I mean, that is really what they've built their brand on, kind of like how Blumhouse is low-budget horror. A24 is, okay, you want to see something really weird? Or something that's going to make you wonder what you just watched? Well, that's what they do. So I wasn't surprised at how much I liked I Saw the TV Glow, but it stuck with me. It really did. I think that's a really fascinating movie to watch and consider the ending of, because you can look at the ending a lot of ways. Well, okay, maybe not a lot of ways. You can look at the ending 3 or 4 different ways. And I think depending on how you look at it tells you what you think how bad you think, not bad's the wrong word, on whether you think it's a really sad ending or not. But I like the fact that it works in different ways for different people. I think most really good movies, I don't think this is going to stay green. I think I'm going to end up altering this color. But I don't know yet. Oh, I missed a spot. I enjoy movies that challenge me a bit. I enjoy movies that make me have to think about something. And in the case of something like I Saw the TV Glow, it really made me think about, well, what is it that I'm not getting from this movie? Because it wasn't necessarily made for me. I like that too. I don't require movies to have to be just for me. I'm fine with movies that are made... as long as it's not trying to alienate me. If it's, I don't want a movie to tell me actively, I don't want you watching me. But I don't have any problem, the way a lot of people seem to do, if a movie isn't made for them. I don't really get that. I think a well-made movie is a well-made movie, whether you're the direct target of it or not. And I think part of that is that if a movie can work regardless of whether you are the main audience for it or not, then it works. And it does. Or it doesn't. You know, I don't think that... I think sometimes bad movies, the defense of them by some people will be, well, you just didn't get it because you weren't who I was targeting. No, I think you maybe just made a bad movie. I think maybe your movie just wasn't good. That's many times. That's not all the time. There are definitely cases where, because a certain group of people don't like that this movie's being made because it reflects a mindset they don't like, that they will organize against it. There are those cases. But there are just as many cases where somebody says, oh, no, you just didn't get it because you just don't get it. So, well, no, you just didn't make a good movie. And sometimes that's just how it goes. You don't have to like that. I'm not saying you have to be happy about the fact that you made a bad movie, but let's not pretend it's because I didn't get it. I've watched plenty of movies that I can't tell you I really understood and had a great time with. That's pretty much most David Lynch films. And I love David Lynch. I think he's one of my favorite filmmakers that's alive. I love the fact that I don't understand all this stuff. I think that actually makes it better. All right, I missed something here. What did I miss? Not that one, not that one, that one. So this one, which was probably the first one. No, hold on. Oh, first one down here. Hold on, let's turn these off one by one and see where we are. Yep, that's it. That's the one. Wow, I completely missed that one. Huh. All right, make sure you... Okay, it's still moving. We're good. I probably meant to do the assist and then forgot to actually finish it. So, yeah, I saw the TV Glow. Great movie. Movie that really makes you think. But in a good way. I think the ending leaves a lot of room for you to bring your own stuff to it, which I also think is great. It lets you kind of bring your own life experience to it and what you think these characters, I should say 2 characters, what you think they're experiencing and what their reactions to these experiences are. I think that stuff's great. I don't know. I guess I don't need every single thing to be crafted for my particular tastes. I just don't. I don't say that like I'm some kind of enlightened, super genius Buddha or something like that. It's not that. I don't know. Try and keep my mind open as much as I can. At least, what did I eat the other day? God, I ate something the other day and it was terrible. But I'm like, well, at least I tried it. Oh, yeah, my wife and I went to a place and she got the fried vegetable appetizer. And I hate vegetables. I can't stand them. I just... There's a joke within my family that, oh, is it green? Then Joe won't eat it. Which is true, for the most part. Except for lettuce, which anybody will tell you is the most useless, or one of the most useless vegetables because there's no nutrients to it. It doesn't have any value, but I like lettuce. But anyway, she got because my wife loves vegetables. Much healthier person than I am in very, very many ways. And she got the vegetables, and she said, oh, here, try the carrots. You might like them like this because they were made differently than I've had them before. And, in my head, I was like, I doubt it. But sure, I'll try it. And I ate it and said, yeah, no, not for me. But I tried it. So you can't say I didn't try it. There's most times in life, I'll at least try something. And, I'm not going to guarantee I like it, but at least give it a shot. For most things, not going to be skydiving or anything like that because I know my fear of heights is not going to be fixed by jumping out of a plane. It's bad enough when I have to get on a plane to fly somewhere. There are days where I'm like, yep, thank you, drug manufacturers. Because without you, I wouldn't be flying anywhere. Not that I fly very often, but when I do, it's probably better if I'm not a shrieking coward screaming in the back of a plane for 6 hours. Okay, so... yeah, I don't know about the colors. Okay, they might look... well, let's drop the background out. Let's just see. If I drop the background out, or I do like a black background, because that's kind of... yeah, see, now with the black background, I don't mind that the skull has the black line work. I think that actually works for it. Because I'm picturing this on a t-shirt, as I do with most of this stuff. But I don't know about the green. Even though I kind of like that green, I don't know that it works for this. Okay, well, let me start with the bigger. Where's the biggest? There we go. Let's try these. Yeah, I mean, none of those are particularly good. Purple isn't bad. Wouldn't mind a purple. Punch the brightness down a bit. Yeah, that could work. So what are we at here? Hold on. If I'm gonna replicate this color, I want to replicate it. So it's an 83% with, let's say, a 40% brightness. Now hold on, let me try different now that I've adjusted the bright. Ooh, you know what? I do like a good teal. Hat 2. Okay, I'll admit. Used on a hat. Oh, you mean the purple color? Oh, for putting the image on a hat. Yeah. Yeah. I never wear hats, so I don't ever think that way, but there's really no reason images I make couldn't work on hats if they work on shirts when they're these kind of squarish ones. You're right. Yeah, I'm just struggling with the color. I'm terrible with colors. I'm just bad with them. I see other people do color stuff, and I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Oh, that looks pretty easy. I can do it. No, I can't do it. I always get screwed up on colors. Oh, you know what? I mean, I do love a good red, too. It's hard to argue with a good red. I do adore red. It's my favorite color. Favorite color used to be green, and it's changed. I realized I really just love red. Which I've had people say, oh yeah, it's because you're always angry about something, and red is an angry color. Well, I'm not always angry about things. I get annoyed about a lot of things. I'll have to cop to that. I do. But I really like the NASA red. It's probably my favorite red, is like NASA's red, which I guess is kind of a maroon maybe. That's a good color. I like this. 6%. What's that? I'll just max the saturation. It's not going to make a difference for this. 6% and 35. All right, hold on a minute. So 6% and 35. 35 with a max saturation level. Yep. I can always play with this later, but this is, I think I like this better. And you know what? I have this impulse to not always do colors I like to. What did I say? 35%, right? 35. Yeah. Like, oh, you shouldn't always do reds because you always use reds. But you know what? Why not? If I like the color, I like the color. It's one of these things where you sit there and go, why are you making yourself nuts over something when there's no reason that if you like a color, you just don't like the color. You like red, use red. It's your image. Do what you want. I spend enough of my life doing things that other people tell me I gotta do. If I can do things where I want to do, I should just do them the way I want them. 35. Okay. It looks very heavy metal. But that's okay. It's a skull. I mean, all right. Where are we at here? Okay. You know what? I was aiming for about an hour. And I'm right where I want to be with that. I want to actually stop looking at this for a little bit. I've said this before. It's a good thing to not look at something for a while. I'm going to turn the... where's the... I'm going to turn that off. I need that line going on in the middle. I think this is where I'm going to take a break. Let's see. Whoa, that's weird. So your comment... Oh, it just... Okay, it appeared on the screen first. All right. F5 6600. Okay, well, I'm curious. Hold on. Let's see. F5 6600. F5 6600. What is that? Oh, orange. Oh, okay. I should have guessed that. I should have guessed it was going to be orange or purple because I know those are... I see you in those colors a lot. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I like orange in things, but I never like it in anything I do. I would never use orange, but I like it when it's used properly. I had a illustration teacher my senior year of college who everything was orange. Everything. He had orange watch, shirts, sneakers. Like he had custom sneakers. I think they were custom Converse in this color that he liked that was an orange. I mean, it was kind of that kind of orange. Something, I mean, I think it was a orange that was a little bit off so that he could get things specially made. I really feel like that was part of it. I like orange when it's used well. I just almost never use orange unless it's something where it makes sense. Like if I was doing a safety cone and I was making it, then it would be orange because that's what safety cones are generally orange. Yeah. yeah, most things, yeah, wouldn't, well, you know what? There is a way I could see it working if I wanted to do like a construction safety thing on the, here, I'll show you. I'll just show you. There is one way I could see it working. If I was doing one of these really kind of, some people do these really, really weird kind of very arty, and of course this is me like an idiot saying that, thing where they're doing like, okay, I want to have these stripes going across it, right? And then, the background will be a different color like that. There would be more blacks behind it. So let me drop the background. I can do this because I can just scram this stuff out. So if they were trying to do something, I don't know what it would be, but I've seen stuff like this where it's like, okay, and then I want to have this back here, so it's going to be this really weird skull that's got like safety construction colors on it. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Stuff like that. Then, yeah, orange would work. This is not anything I would ever do, but I've seen stuff. This is like an Ed Hardy thing. To give it the easiest pop culture example is where you'd see something like this. So yeah, for my stuff, it wouldn't work for most things, but there's a guy who does spaceship designs, who does orange and black a lot. Looks great on his stuff. There's a guy named Chris Foss, who's a very, very famous illustrator who does very distinctive striped ship designs, orange everywhere. That makes complete sense. But yeah, for my type of stuff, just generally not a color I would gravitate towards. But I don't dislike any color if somebody uses it properly. I just know I don't usually use it very well. Yeah. The less said about that, the better. I don't want to end on a complaining note, so we'll leave the Ed Hardy stuff aside. I'm not the biggest fan of those design choices. I guess I'll just put it like that. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So, yeah, I think I'm going to bring the stream to a close. I'm going to let this simmer in the background in my head for a bit and take a look at it later. And because I like the idea of the color. I think I'm going to make it a very simple, like one color, and the rest will stay the bone color. So I'm not going to put a lot of colors into this. But I like this red. I'm going to let that sit. No reason I couldn't do multiple color versions either. But for right now, I think I'm just going to take a break from it. I wish I could get that to fade in. I've got to look into that. So yeah, I think that's a good place to bring the stream to a close. I've got the skull where I want it. I've got the tentacles in place. I like the fact that they're outlined in white. I like to stop when I'm happy with where an image is at the time that I stop. And this is one of those cases. So, Mr. Pruitt, thank you very much for stopping by. If you do your creator hours tomorrow, I will be there. That will be my plan. I hope all is well with you and anybody watching this stream, whether you're watching it live or later. I always say I don't care. I absolutely mean it. I appreciate anybody stopping by whenever they can, however they want. And like I always say, or now I kind of always said this. Creativity is good for you. It's good for your mind, it's good for your body, it's good for your soul. So don't stop here. Go watch somebody else be creative in a different way or the same way. There's lots of people who do these types of streams. There's lots of videos out there. Go learn to do something. It's never too late. You're never too old. Creativity, one of the greatest things about it is you can always figure out something creative to do. Even if it's small, it doesn't matter. It's worth doing. So go find somebody and experience their creativity. Enjoy it. Support those people if you can. Many of the people who do these types of things depend on the support from those streams, from those productions. So go support them. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm saying this for others. There are other people who need that help. And go support them. Because if you don't, sooner or later, they're not going to be there. It's easy to just think it's always going to be around. That's not the way the world works. So go find some creative people. Become fans. Become supporters if you can. And that's it. That's it. Have a wonderful weekend since it's Thursday, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. And until the next stream, thank you for spending a little time with me. And until